think we're live. Chat, are we live? Yeah, it claims we are live. What is up, people? The internet, it is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We're live on this beautiful, what is it, June 2nd, 2025. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we are joined by the usual suspects. Let's see here. Mr. John Rose has joined.
Hello, hello.
Mr. MAGA. What's your name today? MAGA.
Now Rocky, you know, he won the Polish
we went to
election
Poland.
yesterday. So.
Yeah, and of course, Real Texas Politics, so the usual people are
Hello.
here. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself. And before I get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are great ways to support the daily content. And if you have any questions, concerns, or want to support the channel even further, best way is sending super chats via the chat. Again, I read through as much of chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way your questions answered. And like usual, we have a super chat goal. If we reach it, we reach it. If we don't, not the end of the world, but it'd be greatly appreciated if we can reach it. And Mega Bailers for 2. Late. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna start that certain country in Africa. No. Anyways, thanks to super chat though. I don't want YouTube to demonetize the stream 5 seconds of the stream. But okay. So we have a lot to talk, but I think we'd start with Poland. Because that's kind of the story of yesterday.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, and that's the thing I know a lot about. So yeah, let's talk about it.
So yeah, let's start with Poland because yesterday there was a big upset in Poland, and not in a bad way. We actually had a victory for once. So Luke, explain what happened in Poland in a nutshell.
Hi, give me 1 second.
Thank you. All right. For those that don't know, we had an election in Poland for the presidential race, and everyone thought that how do you say that guy's name? Is it like...
Yeah, okay, I can explain it now. Yeah, I can explain it now. So basically, this is what happened. So the incumbent president basically is not allowed to run for, or wasn't allowed to run for re-election. His name was Duda.
Yeah, Duda.
He was part of the Law and Justice Party, which is basically like... Think about if the Trump wing of the GOP was just an entire political party. That's what PIS is. And then because Poland's a very right-wing country, the opposition party is also, it's not left-wing, it's also conservative. It's like the Romney wing of the party. So that's Polish politics. Yeah. So what was initially expected to happen was, because in the parliament elections back in 2023, the Law and Justice actually had lost. So the opposition had took over those. So they were expected to also take the presidency this year. In fact, their candidate was actually Poland. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm outside walking, so there's a bunch of people around. So, but yeah, their presidential candidate was actually polling ahead by like 20 points. Like a couple months ago, actually not even a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, he was polling at like 60%. This guy, Rafał Trzaskowski. I think that is not how you say it, but I'm not even gonna try. We're never gonna have to say his name again. So I'll just call him Rafał. He was polling like 20 points ahead, 60-40, just a couple months ago. And weeks ago, I keep mixing that up. But now Rocky basically since then has somehow miraculously surged, you know? And this is another thing too. All these people are telling us that Trump is toxic around the globe, especially in Europe. Carol Nawrocki openly campaigned at the White House, met with Trump, basically endorsed Trump's Ukraine plan. That was the issues he was running on, was Trump's plans for all these conflicts. And now he's won.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at these polls from back in April. This is back in April, plus 22, plus 12, plus 22, plus... There was one poll at a 20 back in like late May. So, or early May, I should say. So yeah, this was a pretty big upset. I mean, I had a gut feeling, like, I thought Rafał was going to win. I just thought, okay, after what happened in 23 and back in 2020, I thought it was about to happen where the opposition was going to win. No! Nawrocki actually won. Rocky, is that you say it?
Yeah, now Rocky. He's got the way easier name to pronounce. That's another reason I'm kind of glad he won.
Yeah, can you imagine trying to say Trzaskowski? Sure,
I think it's actually pronounced Trzaskowski. You're supposed to pronounce the W as a V. Polish.
That's cringe.
I don't know.
That's cringe. All right, so a couple of super chats to read. Let's see here. Man Milk for 2. Why haven't we done anything about Hart Seller? We'll get to that in a second because that's kind of the point of the stream. Jacob Hawley for 10. The Holocaust survivor who was injured in the Boulder, Colorado attack has sadly passed from her injuries. Aw, seriously? Yeah, we'll talk about the Colorado stuff in a little
Rest in
bit.
peace.
Nari for 2. EU to overturn Poland results in the name of democracy. This was such a big victory for Poland standards. They're not going to overturn it. American United for 2.
So also, Poland has way more of a rule of law than Romania has. Romania is
Romania's a
literally
freaking
run.
joke.
Romania is run by the mafia, so they can just do anything. It's less like that in Poland.
All right, American Nerd for 2. Worry the EU will pull Romania. No, again, it's not going to happen. I mean, they may try, but I don't think it's going to go the way they think it would go if they do that. Because we're talking about Poland. So, I mean, if they want to try, sure.
The thing is with Romania, they overturned the first round. This time they wouldn't be able to overturn a second round. It doesn't work like that. Like now, Rockies, Trzaskowski is already conceded, and Araki is already like scheduled to be sworn in. So yeah, they're not going to be able to do that. And also, Law and Justice currently controls the presidency, so it'd be very difficult for that to happen. So this is a hold for the party.
Well, technically it's independent, but yeah, he's a Law and Order candidate.
And by the way, I will say too, it was nearly identical margin to the 2020 presidential election. A lot of the group shifted around though. The young voters, way more right.
Wow, thank you. Your mic sucks.
You can. Oh shoot! Give me a second. I'm gonna switch to speakerphone.
Yeah, I'm pulling this up since Luke's talking about it. Where is it at? There it is. Yeah. So yesterday in the Poland election, take a guess how much he won the youth vote by. Iraqi. He won by 3. Actually, 4 points.
He won it by like.
He won young people Poland. Fix your mic. But yeah, so back. Bruh. All right, yeah. So back in 2020, Duda lost the youth vote by 27. Yeah, it swung 33 points Republican, or to the right, I should say, not Republican.
Hello.
Yeah.
Does it work now?
Yeah. Your mic sucks still.
Well, I'm outside walking. I'm usually on my mic.
Okay.
Home,
anyways,
so it sounds better.
But the point is, like, we're seeing this everywhere. There's clearly a young shift, not just in one country. It's the entire West. The entire West has shifted heavy to the right. So, just pulling another example, which I'm surprised the youth vote was that liberal back in 2020. But, yeah.
I will say part of that is from Confederation. The Confederation Party is like, they're the third biggest party in Poland at the moment. They get the overwhelming majority of young voters, and they're generally on the right. They're right wing, but they're like kind of libertarian. They have a libertarian wing. So that party usually heavily votes for the younger votes usually vote for them. In the first round, they won that demographic. In 2020, most of the Confederation voters just didn't vote in the second round. This time they did. And when they showed up, that I think accounts for the majority of the young people swing in the second round.
Probably.
It's probably just Confederation people voting.
All right, and Nari for 2. Alice Intel really nailed the Poland election. Yeah, how did Alice Intel do? All that shit they talked to Rasmussen about, oh, they're off by 2 points, they suck. Let's see what Alice Intel had for the Polish election. They find this here.
No, and here's the funny thing, too. They had now Rocky up the whole cycle, and you know what they did at the end? They herded, because most of the other polls had the other guy up, so they were like, oh, we should probably show the other guy up, too. So they literally herded the thing they accuse everyone else of doing. They did, and then they got proven dog shit for it. If they would have stuck with their original numbers, they would have been more accurate than everyone else.
Yeah, so according to them, Alice Intel's the first pollster to show a tight race. That's not true, by the way. There was a pollster back in, like, April that found, like, a close race. So that's not even true. But, like, they're coping. Like, 2 days ago, they attacked Rasmussen for having a hairstyle by 1 point in, like, August or whatever. Remember that? 2 days ago, they said that. So, yeah, Alice Intel's full of shit. But another poll.
Also, I'd like to point out the guy who runs it is not bipartisan at all.
Yeah, he's
this guy openly was in favor of kicking Gorchescu off of the ballot in Romania. Like, he made this whole like article about like why it's needed to save democracy. So he's not this like unbiased guy. He's deeply biased.
Well, and like, yeah, it's just awful. And they accuse Rasmussen, which again, they defended them 5 months ago. It's as if when they got the Bloomberg money, they suddenly changed. I wonder what happened. Wonder what happened there. Anyways, Jacob Hawley for 5 or 10. W for Poland, let's have a MAGA global revolution, like reverse Trotsky revolution, but in the right for MAGA. What is safe for Poland? Romania wasn't perfect, but the guy who won is still conservative. Yeah, that's what people understand. Even like Romania, they picked a guy that's like in bed with Russia, which is just hilarious because they try to accuse that Russia's stealing the election.
Well, you gotta remember, Eastern Europe is
Yeah.
like the average person who's in like the Civic Coalition, which is the opposition party, would probably be a moderate Republican in America, or
Yeah.
at very least like a blue dog Democrat at the absolute most. Like these are very conservative countries. This is a place where the government wasn't even able to liberalize abortion law because this is what they were doing. They don't even want.
Okay, you're done. No, Luke, just stop. Your mic's terrible. It's getting worse.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're like roboting like crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It's your connection. It's not your mic.
Yeah, it's your connection.
No, but you know, to everybody that's listening and doesn't really pay attention to European politics like Luke does, Poland getting the Nationalist Party to win the PIS, it means that we have a gateway, we have a foot in the door when it comes to the EU, Europe, these relations. I really like the fact, you know, there's this thing in Europe called the Three Seas Initiative, which is a strand of countries north to south that's kind of a bulwark against Russia and against any other potential national security threats in Europe. And Poland is really at the lead of that. And there's this been really strange situation where every country involved doesn't necessarily want the same thing. And all the big countries involved in this project to try and bolster national security all are like kind of competing for various interests. And of course, with the other party in Poland, they were giving deeply mixed signals to both Donald Trump and the European Union and Ukraine in regards to what they wanted to do. It seems like they had no idea. The Romney party in Poland seemed like under Tusk as the prime minister, he was just sitting there like, oh yeah, we want to help Ukraine and give Ukraine more crap if you guys agree that all of our Polish companies can operate and rebuild the country for you. And we have access to your seaports, please. But then they were like trying to get the EU to put restrictions on Ukraine. So it was very confusing. There was a lot of mixed signals coming out of the administration. I think the Nationalist Party is going to give a very clear image. They want what's right for Poland. They want what's right for Europe, Europe at large in terms of national security. And so basically the point I'm making is because we already have good relations with this president, he's already visited the White House. He's already shaken Donald Trump's hand. We're going to be able to influence the European decision-making on both Ukraine and just general security through Poland. I really think we can. And it's going to be good. I think this is a very positive move. I don't know how it will affect the Russia-Ukraine war, but it absolutely, I think, for like long-term European politics in general in relation to them being allied to us, Poland's a really good foot in the door for us in the EU.
And I think yesterday kind of proved my boomer theory right, where it's like these boomers are just shifting left everywhere. Even Poland, which obviously Poland is more conservative, obviously, but it's clear that the nationalist parties in Europe, just across the entire West, they're gaining momentum with young people. But their problem is, well, boomers. And that's really the only problem. Like, look at Canada. The only reason liberals won, the Liberal Party won because of boomers. So I do think the realignment's continuing everywhere. It's just a matter of time before these people, they're up there in age. I don't think I'm going to say much more, but yeah, I mean, the fact that
is the mic better now?
Yeah.
It sounds better.
All right.
No, what I was going to say was like, I guarantee now that PIS will probably win the next legislative elections, which are slated for 2027, but could happen sooner because Tusk just announced this morning that he's going to hold a confidence vote in his own government.
What?
And if there's a no confidence, which it's very unlikely, most likely they'll keep confidence in him. But the People's Party, which is a more center-right party in the coalition, has been breaking with them on a lot of votes. And if they were to no confidence, there would be a snap election called, but it's very unlikely. But most likely, the elections will be in 2027. You'll likely see the PIS win those again.
Polish boomers aren't as bad. Oh, obviously, Polish boomers are not as bad as Canadian boomers, for example. I'm not saying that. But even in Poland, there's a clear trend that young people, they want the more nationalist parties. Didn't like literally the monarchist guy get like 8% of the vote? It was all young people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That guy is just that guy's an animal.
He also
but-
had some other interesting opinions that I'm not going to get
Yeah,
into.
listen, that guy is. I don't know how he got that high of a share, but good luck to Poland. Anyways, American Nerd for 3. What did this Naraki guy run on exactly? Really just. Actually, I don't know. Top of my head, I don't really.
You know, he mostly just ran on like being a check for the Civic Coalition and basically being like, we're gonna keep this government in check. That's what he was running, because that's what Duda's been doing, stopping a lot of the extreme stuff. Because here's the thing. Most of these presidents in Europe are pretty much powerless. Like they're kind of just forced to sign bills. Poland is slightly different. They have the ability to veto bills. Most heads of state aren't allowed to do that in Europe, but in Poland they can. So
Good. Yeah, the boomer left-wing trend are not surprised. The left has become the conservative movement in that they want to conserve the current neoliberal. Oh gosh, you're not wrong. They want to conserve the neoliberal order. Yeah. Well, okay, enough of the Polish stuff.
I'd also love to point out that they were celebrating over the fact that the first exit poll that came out had Trzaskowski leading by 0.2.
Yeah.
And all these liberals were celebrating. I got to show you the reaction. Give me a sec. You got to play this video. It's only a couple seconds. But it was Trzaskowski's reaction. Yeah, it's only 15 seconds. I'm sending it. But it was his reaction to the 0.2% lead. And I'll send in a second.
I knew the second the exit poll came out that we are going to win. I just knew. It's like, it's 0.2%. Which I don't...
Also, you know who else? Polymarket.
Yeah. Listen, I love Polymarket for what they're doing, but guys, don't base your predictions on Polymarket. It's cool to look at, but yeah, a lot of people lost their asses yesterday. That was hilarious. It was like 90 cents for a second, then went down because people get to realize.
Yeah, play this video.
Yeah, let me pull this up.
This video
I
was...
can't pull that stream, Luke.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't. If it was a Twitter video, I could, but. Anyways.
Wait, I can find the Twitter video.
Okay.
Give me a sec.
But anyways, guys, so yeah, the Polish stuff, I'm glad Poland voted that because I was kind of worried for a second, but then it became clear right away that okay, this no Rocky's gonna win.
Yeah, and this isn't like a big change in status. Like with what I'm about to say, it's not a big change in status quo in terms of Polish politics, but I just want to mention it because it's funny. During the campaign, Naraki, the guy that just won, he like threw a copy of a genderqueer book into a paper shredder. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
knew
I
that.
saw that. Well, he literally went to the main stage, put a pride flag on the guy's freaking podium. So
yeah, so like
Yeah,
the point
I just
is like
sent the Twitter video.
yeah, if like in terms of social conservatism, like Poland is being protected from the EU. The EU actually is trying for about 2 years now to force them to like recognize gay marriage and recognize like civil unions or whatever. But yeah, no, like if they try to push a bill forward, like they did back like in October, I think they started a bill. Yeah, no, Naraki's just gonna veto it, so that's cool.
yeah, I got the video here. Oh my gosh, they were celebrating a poll that had them up by 0.2. What a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go crazy over like in America. Can you imagine if an exit poll like came out? It's like literally a tied race. Everybody like, oh god, this is gonna take forever. But in Poland, no, I guess they just celebrate a 0.2% lead in an exit poll. Bruh. That's I know European exit polls are a bit better, but still.
Rip. It's just like, early celebrating is always a little bit
Stupid.
unfortunate.
Like, wait for the results. Like, you could tell right away when the results came in and, like, it was Western Poland and, like, he was with, like, 5 points better everywhere. It's like, okay, this race is over. It's over.
Yeah, people were clowning on, like, the Romanian guy declaring victory too early, right? So,
Yeah.
it's kind of want to just wait. You
Everyone-
don't want to do that.
Let's be honest. Everyone knew when the first results came in that we won, but anyways.
Yeah.
So, enough of that. I do think Poland had a pretty big victory. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that this is a movement for the rest of Europe. Well, it is. I mean, look at the UK.
Well, right. Like the point of all the stuff I was blabbing about earlier is basically decentralization of Europe. Right now, Germany calls the shots for a lot of what happens in the EU. France has strong influence, but it's mostly Germany. Poland getting a strong nationalist leader means France and Poland will exert more power than Germany in the following years. That's the takeaway. And the thing is that Germany is our direct competitor in a lot of markets, but also just in terms of like power struggles. So it's good for Germany to lose influence. It's better for Poland to be a strong nation. And then Poland, France, and a couple of other countries can help us keep the EU kind of balanced. We're keeping the balance in the force over there.
Yeah,
Balance
man.
the
How do you
force.
expect France to be a European leader when the president can't even gets pushed around by his wife? Quite
Well,
interesting. I think
Nukes.
most
his
people have
husband
seen the
actually.
video now.
It
Oh
literally
yeah.
just the answer is nukes. It's like that's it. Like if France did not have nukes, it,
No one would
it
care.
probably would have way less influence. No one would care if they didn't have like military ties to Romania. If they didn't have like all this other bull crap, there's like specific reasons France is in the game. They have skin in here, but
Yeah.
yeah, no,
But all right,
Macron's an
so
embarrassment.
I think it's time we get into the point of the stream that I want to get to because this was a shocking event that happened in Colorado. For those that don't know, it's a terrorist attack. That's the best way to put it. It was an illegal immigrant, right? That's what they found. It was like an immigrant that was on overstay of a visa, and it was Boulder, Colorado, and he literally lit people on fire. Right? It was like Molotov cocktails. He threw it at people. He had bombs, and apparently a couple people died. So President Trump put out a statement earlier today. He said, yesterday's horrific attack in Boulder, Colorado will not be tolerated in the United States. He came in through Biden's ridiculous open border policy, which has hurt our country so badly. We must go out under the Trump policy. Acts of terrorism will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is yet another example of why we must keep our borders secure and deport illegal anti-American radicals from our homeland. My heart goes out to the victims of this terrible tragedy and the great people of Boulder, Colorado. So, yeah, it was a terrorist attack. Even though, like, wasn't NBC and CNN saying this was like a white person that did it at first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like actually, it's not a terrorist attack. It's just it was a white MAGA Republican or something. I don't think they said MAGA Republican, but they said like white person. And then came out, oh wait, this guy's
I
like.
I saw they were blaming a certain group of frogs on the internet.
Anyways, but yeah, so it turns out this was illegal from I think Egypt. And we got a fact check on that.
Yeah, I think it was Egypt, and he was a big Palestine supporter.
Yeah.
I think he was shouting "Free Palestine."
He was shouting
like,
"Free Palestine," and
basically saying he was going to kill Zionists and such.
Yeah, so he literally was serving Molotov cocktails, lighting people on fire. Listen, I don't care.
This guy's going to become a hero among like the pro-Hamas left.
Exactly, and this is the thing that kind of spooks me a little bit.
You notice how, like Aaron Bushell or whatever.
You notice how quiet a lot of the Democrats have been on this. Look at Omar. Has she said a single thing about this? Has she?
Nope.
Has a lot of Democrats said this? I saw like one or two say something. But outside of that,
So the state was a terrorist attack, but that's basically it.
They're not saying what actually happened, if they even say anything at all. You know, I'm starting to wonder. I mean, how do you even deal with this? Because this is clear we have a big problem in America. We have a bunch of people that are like this. Not just illegals, by the way. There's a lot of citizens in America right now. Look at the college campuses. Look at it. I mean, these people are harassing Jewish students. They're threatening them. They're boarding stuff up. It's crazy. My question is, how do you deal with this?
I think that the main thing that we keep a focus on is pointing out the source of all of these problems. We did not magically become a terrorist state. We did not magically grow domestic terrorists. We didn't magically, like, there wasn't just some tooth fairy that like brought them in over on a magic carpet. It was planes that Joe Biden brought in here. We imported these people. We had a deliberate public policy to import terrorism into our country as a consequence of trying to change voter margins with mass immigration. And if we never can let anybody forget that is the source of all of this problem. Like, and, I know that you're concerned mostly with how to deal with it. Like, oh, well, how do we deal with it? How do we get it? Listen, if we stoke the flames of immigration and we never let it die, you guys remember during the election season, remember what my main concern was? In like between 2017 and 2019, immigration got good enough that people stopped caring about it. We can never let people stop caring about this, because if we get the flames are stoked, people want more deportations, people want more of this, then the government will respond. I mean, it is responding, and we are building infrastructure
Yeah, I
to
wasn't with
actually
that.
deport more people. But we can't let up. We cannot let off the gas. If you want to live in a country where horrible shit like this doesn't happen on like a monthly basis, you need to continue telling your people in your real life, everybody that you meet, we got to deport people.
And you know, I think we're getting to the point now where people are realizing that, oh wait, we have a much bigger problem than just illegal immigrants, by the way, because apparently he came through actually legal process. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he actually came through like some bullshit visa. Like, I don't think it was like H-1B visa, but it was a visa where he got in and like, oh, you know, you can stay here. So I think people are realizing that it's not just illegal immigration, which that's obviously a big problem, but the quote unquote legal immigration system, it's got to be completely torn down. It's got to be completely torn down at this point. It's such a mess that even like the legal immigrants, I don't even know what you call this guy. I mean, he overstayed his visa or whatever, but still. All right, Jacob Holly for 5. CNN, funnily enough, called him an illegal immigrant, but MSNBC literally called him a man from El Paso, Texas. He's from Egypt and illegal, get him out. Did they call him a citizen from El Paso? It's MSNBC for you. K-Cup for 2. Has the state's Democrat governor said anything? I think Paulus did say something. I think Paulus did put out a statement. Let me check.
I mean, he kind of has to.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, freaking... It was Boulder, Colorado.
although he seems like he's one of the better, like, Dem governors. Like, that's not saying much, but, like, compared to some of the other ones, he's not the worst.
But, you know, with everybody here, I really think that's the key. What you're just saying, Rap, everything you're just saying, we have to make sure people understand that the line between illegal and legal immigration, it's not very meaningful. And of course, like obviously, let's talk more, let's jabber more about on Twitter and everywhere else, getting rid of visa overstays. Like we have an enormous number of visa overstays in this country. I don't remember the exact figure. I saw one figure that said 400,000, but I think
it's way more.
It's way more than that. It's in the millions, probably.
Yeah, somebody that knows immigration stuff. I think he said like 2.5 million, and that's what we know. Which, I mean, that's 2.5 million. And that's why I say the illegal immigration numbers, it's like, oh, these people are coming legally. These people break the law still. Because a good chunk of the legal immigrants, their visas, they're supposed to be here for 5 minutes and leave. But they don't leave ever. And look what happened at Colorado. If this guy would have left when he should have, this attack would have never happened. So, Chris Creative...
We have to enforce law, and we're getting to that place where we were living in anarcho-tyranny for a few years. Everybody got really sick of that, but we just have to continue convincing people that actually living in a country where laws are carried out, visa overstays are deported, criminals are arrested, you know, like that system is better than when we don't enforce the law. Like we just have to hammer that into these like normal people's brains really hard.
And I would argue that it would be easier to go after these overstays because I believe how it works, if they overstay their visa, you can just deport them without any problems. Well,
yeah,
a court's still going to try to do something, but since these people overstay their visa, there's no excuse now. You can't just say, oh, well, they're supposed to be here. They literally overstay their visa. They broke their agreement. All right, Chris Creative for 5. You have to cut out Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Chinese money, teachers from college campuses, and greatly restrict even legal immigration. Yeah, that's part of it. You have all these NGOs, like, funding this crap. They're funding crap like this. Like, the start tensions, like... It's bad. This whole situation we got right now, I mean, it's a ticking time bomb. It really is, and it's gonna get worse. Because I think Real Text, I think you said it yesterday, it's gonna get 10 times worse when if something bad happens in Gaza the next couple of weeks. Which...
Probably, yeah, I can see that, and I mean, people will probably also be inspired by visa tax, so...
Yeah.
Like, this guy might have been inspired by the shooting in D.C.
I think so. I think he was.
I see some bait in chat for me. I'm gonna take it. Ron Paul's begging me. He's begging the question. Your family came from another country. Family came from another country. You're telling the wrong person that. I have records that I can show anybody that knows me in real life that my family sticks back to about 400 years. It's like a little bit over 400 years. I think 1619, somewhere between 1619 and 1621 my first paternal ancestor arrives in America in Virginia. So yeah, no, that is you are talking to the wrong person. My family is settlers. I've been here for 400 years. Like, if you want to say I came from another country, that's like, oh, well, the Norman invasion happened once. So the British people aren't actually natives to their country because there are like a lot of Norman blood in there. Like it's just fucking stupid. It's like,
It's
like
stupid.
this.
And we'll get to the immigration stuff in a second, but comparing the immigration system of 2025 to like 1890 is crazy. That's stupid. I mean, you're talking about two completely different eras, completely different immigrants. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah, we could talk. We could talk about that JD stuff, the little posts that he had made about. Yeah,
and Democrats die on that hill of like the asserted scientist.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chris created for 5. Any immigrants need to be heavily steeped in American knowledge and values. We have to recognize Islam isn't compatible with American society. Well, that's what people are realizing. It's like, wait, these people don't like America. They fundamentally don't. And people are making a big deal about the Jewish stuff. Like, oh, Trump's administration's doing it because they're Jewish. Yeah, because they're getting killed now for being Jewish. These same people would be, if it wasn't for the Jewish stuff, they would do something different. That's who these people are. They did this back in 2016 or whatever. They harassed people for no reason. So
I would really note to people who like have a really big issue with that. Listen. It's kind of a gateway for us. If you think about the universities discriminating against Asians, and you think about universities discriminating against Jews, then it creates the opening, the cover for us to talk about the most important problem, which is that the native population of this country is being discriminated against.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. So you can talk about white people, you can talk about anti-white racism if you include the Asians and the Jews.
Because
okay?
it's happening.
You got it?
Because it's happening as we speak. I mean, these guys are getting like crazy SAT scores and like they're getting GPAs of like 5 or whatever, and they're not allowed in Harvard because they're Asian.
Yeah. So like again, we don't want to glorify Jews. We don't want to glorify Asians. We don't want to like prop them up and be like, oh, these are the best immigrants ever. Let's import 8 bajillion Asians. No. What we're saying is we're using it as a door, as a way to get our foot in the door so we can talk about them discriminating against the people that have been here for 400 years. Okay?
Yeah. Walk talk for 5. Send all the migrants to North Korea. I'm sure Kim has room in his labor camps for them. Yeah. Let's make a deal with Kim Jong-un. Hey, you want free labor? You want some free labor? Oh gosh, K-Cup for 5. Wasn't running on Law and Order a big reason why Nixon won in 68? Trump ran on that too. How many parallels we seen that with the two? Oh, it's basically identical with Nixon. Yeah, it was Law and Order was a big reason he won in 68. Chris created for 5. I contracted with the USCIS and saw that they had a program with the state of Maryland to actively import El Salvadorians into Maryland with a nonprofit NGO. Yeah, it's all the NGOs. That's where the problem starts. And I think even Eric Schmidt of Missouri, I think he brought up the fact that we gotta go after these NGOs now. So people are realizing that these immigrants are not like, oh, these poor migrants that they didn't know what was going on. These NGOs are causing this mess. And yeah, anyways. But I did find the statement. Jared Powell did say something. He said, as the American Jewish community continues to reel from the horrific anti-Semitic attacks in Washington, D.C., it is unfathomable, that the Jewish community is facing another terror attack here in Boulder on the eve of the holiday. Oh, it's a holiday, actually. Really? There's a Jewish holiday? Oh my god. So, yeah, turns out that this was right during a Jewish holiday they did this crap on. Oh, I'm sure this wasn't a terrorist attack, though. I'm sure the individual was not doing it for any other reason.
Don't you find it bitterly ironic that like the European countries are putting out travel warnings to the US, not because of these things, but because of like our position on not letting trans people be in the military and the crap like that?
Meanwhile, Germany has like every other week there's a car that runs through a crowd. So, yeah. Henry Hooker stand for 5. As much as I don't like Israel, we should never associate with the Free Palestine movement. Well, listen, I've always been skeptical of Israel. Everyone knows this. I've never been one of those like Randy Fine types, but I have never associated myself with these people. for this reason.
Well, the thing is, the Free Palestine crowd supports a literal terrorist
Yeah.
organization called Hamas. Meanwhile, if you're actually sympathetic to like anti-Israel positions, what you would do realistically is side with the Fatah government
Yeah.
because they're an actual, they're normal people. They don't want to throw people off rooftops who don't agree with them. They're like sensible people who just want a two-state solution.
Yeah, I just
Hamas
want
is a terrorist group who wants to genocide like everyone in the region.
I just
So,
want people to stop dying. That's what I care about. So
yeah.
And these idiots don't understand that they want people to die. You know, it's like they just want Jewish people to die. That's a lot of these people in a nutshell. They literally want to be like thrown out of Israel, which is insane. Again, you don't have to like Israel or whatever, but what's the point? Anyways, but guys, he's a man from El Paso. Yeah, it was just was he a father? Anyone know? Was he the El Paso dad? I don't know. But yeah, it's not good. Richard Head for 5. I started attending Mass for the first time in my life after being raised Protestant. On to politics, we need to repeal the 65 Hart-Celler Act ASAP. Well, first of all, W in the chat for Richard Head. We're going to Mass. But yeah, I want to talk about this also because I think Stephen Miller brought this up, funny enough. So it sounds like the Trump administration, they're not happy with the Hart-Celler Act, which for those that don't know is one of the worst laws ever signed. As adult immigration, it allowed the mass immigration from the 60s onwards. It was, I think, 65, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mainly from Mexico, but yeah.
Yeah. And it caused the mess we're in now. It just allowed people to be imported here. I gotta find the tweets. Stephen Miller. Gosh, he has so much stuff. Where are you at? Stephen Miller. Hart.
Oh yeah, another news. It's Pride Month, so
Yeah, no one gives a... I find it funny no one gives a shit anymore. I've seen, like, one Pride thing.
I saw a tweet about, like, the sports teams in Texas that did Pride tweets.
Alright, so I found a tweet here. Stephen Miller said, during the middle of the 20th century, when the U.S. achieved unquestioned global scientific dominance, there was zero net migration. From the 20s to the 70s, the foreign-born population was cut almost in half, while the overall population doubled, until Hart-Celler kicked in. Is this the first time some of the administration said this about the Hart-Celler Act? Not just a random person. We're talking about Stephen Miller. I don't think Tom Homan's ever said anything like this.
I mean, we know the old quote. I forgot who said it, but like the old quote is, "If it were up to Stephen Miller, there'd only be like 40 million Americans."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
My only comment: I voted for this.
Yeah, I voted for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's not wrong, and he's talking about the advanced stuff, which, for those, we didn't talk about this. There was a big stink a couple days ago about the German scientists, you know. We brought a couple of them after World War II, and, for whatever reason, leftists are, like, comparing that to what we have now. And, John, can you explain a bit more? Because you were talking about this earlier. Wow.
John? Is he here?
Well, hey, I'm here. No, see, I've been trying to I've been wheeling back and forth between rooms while you guys are talking.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're okay. So, JD Vance got into a bit of a conversation about the German scientists that we brought over. There was this rhetoric going around about like, oh, immigrants are so important. They're so important because the two top figures of the Apollo program, Arthur Rudolph and Werner von Braun, were German citizens, and they came as refugees.
Yeah, I would listen. I would not call them refugees. I would say it's more like it's either they did that or they got executed. That's what we put it.
Yeah. No, there was this great post that I'll put in general if you want to put it up from Adam Johnston that kind of agreed with Vance. 400,000 Americans worked on the Apollo program. 125 Germans were on Werner von Braun's rocket team. So if you're like worried about NASA, it's like, oh, how are we ever going to get to space again? We can't get to. We're not doing it pretty well right now. Do you remember we just had astronauts stranded in space? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, no, it's an incredibly small percentage of people working in the space program that were from Germany. The only reason we talk about that so much is because people go, we were using German scientists. Oh, they were Nazis. Like that's the only reason people bring it up. But the point is that the 1,600 people from Operation Paperclip, as Adam Johnson's saying, have nothing to do with the economic migrants that are pouring in today. These people have no skills,
Bingo.
they have no value, they have no assets. They are bringing nothing to this country. And yes, those South African refugees that we brought in probably don't have many assets themselves, but they have skills. They speak English. They are
And they're actual
very,
refugees.
they're actual refugees fleeing from persecution, property stealing, being murdered. So like, and it's much smaller. So it's like equating the people that the Trump administration wants to bring into the country with the people that for the people that we brought in to help work on the space program. Those two groups of people are very different from the mass migration being brought in today. It's all a sham. It's all a hoax.
Bullshit.
And here's the heart of it. Here's the heart. JD Vance says this. He says this multiple times on interviews, but it's such a beautiful thing to continue bringing up. The disingenuous part is just simply that they want you to believe Americans are incapable of doing anything on their own. We have to have people from the third world, people from other countries come in and innovate for us, to produce for us. We can't do anything on our own. We can't build houses. We can't do anything. And it's all a lie. It is all a disgusting, despicable lie. And I hope that JD continues hammering on that. And I hope that we continue hammering on it. Americans can do so much. And every single time someone tells you that we need mass migration, just remind them how much we accomplished without it. Okay.
Yeah, we've done so much without mass migration. I mean, guys, I find it funny though. It's these people are like dying on the hill, like, oh, those poor German scientists. Do they understand who they were working for and what they believed? That's my first question.
Would that include like Albert Einstein?
No, I'm talking like Operation Paperclip after World War II.
I don't know,
You don't understand who these people were working for, right? Right, guys?
Communists?
No. A certain mustache man.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so it's like, you're telling me...
they were refugees fleeing...
yeah, they were refugees.
Fleeing execution for their war crimes.
Yeah,
that's
they were
The
refugees.
thing is now, though, is that they probably wouldn't even be considered refugees because they're white.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, they were refugees, all right, just not being executed by the Soviets. That's what happened. So, yeah. Mike I guess some of them would have joined the Soviets, maybe, but still. Mike for 5, or actually a couple.
Yeah, the Soviets did the same.
Yeah,
thing.
they did the same
took
thing.
A bunch of them as well.
Henry Hooker stand for 5. Also, the new Polish president has the same last name as one of the VeggieTales creators. Really? Simple logic for 10. Remember, children, you don't have to be Ben Shapiro or Jackson Hinkle when it comes to Israel. Kind of like you don't have to be a Scott Ritter or Lindsey Graham in Russia. Exactly. Thank you. You don't have to be one of these extremes. You can just have the middle of the road approach of like, okay, wait and see.
Or you can just be me and just repeat what Oliver Stone says about foreign policy.
Oh, gosh. Mike for 5. I work at Amazon, and last year they had an obnoxious amount of pride decorations around the lobby, and this year there's nothing, lol. Yeah, I think the pride stuff's dead. Because it just, people realize, and it's annoying.
I don't think it's dead, but it's dying.
It's dying, yeah. Keiko for 5. My lib friends love the Target Pride Month satanic clothes, which lost Target moms. Now they resent Target because they pull back at Pride stuff. Well, I never got this philosophy. 1% of the population's gay, or whatever.
It's like 3 or 5%.
Why would you bank your entire marketing campaign at 3 to 4% and lose everybody else? I had never understood that philosophy. Why? You're just gonna lose. American
Actually, it might be like 6 or 7, but it's probably mainly just the bisexual.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm sorry. Some of the statistics are bullshit. It's like, oh, like half of Gen Z's like gay or whatever, or LGBT. It's like 90% of that's like bisexual women, and that's bullshit. They're never with women anyways. So those stats are bullshit anyways. American Earth for 2. Wait, NASA was found by Nazis? No. Guys, people that were involved with that, yeah, they were in it, but it wasn't found by them.
Oh, speaking of NASA.
What now?
Didn't we talk about the news about the guy that Trump fired from it?
Anyone know why we pulled that nomination?
Laura Loomer actually had brought it up.
I'm not... Oh, gosh, Laura Loomer. But no, like, he was a good pick.
I think he made a good point about it, though.
I don't know why we got rid of him. Like, did they find a scandal on him or something?
Which pick?
The NASA pick.
It's Jared Isaacman.
Yeah, he's a great pick. He's like friends with Elon Musk, and yeah, it fell through, I guess.
I
Yeah,
don't think that's a net
so
positive for the record.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm just bringing up like a fact. He is friends with Musk. So, American. Hold on. Walk talk for 10 for the record. Up atop. Hold on. Do we have breaking news? Hold on. People are saying something. Did we miss something? People are saying like something happened. Surely this is a chat being full of crap. Right?
Dude, no, since Trump took office, stuff has been happening, so.
I guess there's nothing. For the
Something
record,
may have
apartheid
happened.
was barbaric and beyond savage and should always be denounced. But to see a party and news media say it is not happening to white South Africans is chilling. Yeah. So I guess there wasn't any news. I guess chat was bullshit. Full of shit. I thought I saw
That's
something.
chat, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Good
mean, the
chat,
South
though.
Africa stuff's awful. These people are, like, dying because they're white or whatever. So...
They're dying. It's two things. They're dying because number one, they're white. Number two, they own property. And it doesn't even like it. Look, listen, it doesn't matter that they're farms. If they were like some other rich property, what matters to the organizing party and then the smaller minority communist party in South Africa is the fact that they own things the black people don't. That's it.
Yeah.
That is the actual crime that they have committed. And because they're socialists / communists, the only solution that they can think, it's like, oh, okay, maybe we make the city run better so like wealth grows and people get jobs.
This was a shithole.
Maybe we get the electricity grid running full time. Maybe we get the water never stopping. Like let's just like instead of importing people from first world to actually help them manage their systems and then build up jobs, build up infrastructure, they have a 40% unemployment rate, bro. That doesn't magically happen. That's not.
All right.
That,
Well, it's racism.
but anyways, but yeah, instead of doing all of that, instead of doing all the things they could to build a functioning society or get help building a functioning society, instead they try to extort our president and then take property from white people and then do nothing with the property. So yeah, they just really want to be big Zimbabwe. They want to be big Zimbabwe.
Jacob Hawley for 5. The Supreme Court leaves in place Maryland ban on all assault rifles. Washington Post. Yeah, how are those conservative Supreme Court justices doing? How are they doing?
Some really like book guy. There was some influencer that was yelling at Christian for talking about this, and he was like, "Oh, it's not yet. They're gonna do it all in one swoop." And I hope that's right. I mean, like I hope he's right. But
bullshit.
But the whole thing is, I just think the Supreme Court is always like that's what they've done with Trump. They've delayed, and then in some cases they've just outright blocked things, and that's just they're too pussyfooted to actually defend the Constitution. And I think that is an observation that many people have made, not just
breaking news.
What?
Stephen A. Smith has an announcement on Wednesday.
It's a nothing burger. Watch. American Nerd for
Announced what?
He's gonna announce like, oh, I have a new podcast or something. American Nerd for 3. How did the Hammer Zion react to this Colorado attack? I think he literally still gotta like stop immigration. That's what he said. I think
like pick your friends. Listen, I know people were trying to make fun of the fact that like one of the first clips we had of Vice President Vance was him like walking down a hall with a Hasidic Jew. But what was he talking to the Hasidic Jew about? He's like, well, this is why we have to stop mass migration because there's so many anti-Jewish immigrants. Like, pick your friends.
Yeah,
pick your strategic friends.
I mean, like, guys, like this is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, these people want like immigration cut in half. This is the best way to do it because it's a fact. These people are not just anti-white; they're just anti-Jewish and anti-West. That's a fact. So use this as an excuse to go after these people. So, anyways,
imagine how much money will flow into our cause if we convince Jews to be anti-immigration.
Yeah, well, it's gonna happen now. I mean, like this attack stuff like this. I mean, Democrats are saying nothing, and the first thing Republicans say is we gotta cut immigration. Watch Randy Fine in the next couple days. He's gonna propose a bill that cuts immigration by 90%. Watch, it's Randy Fine or somebody like that, or the bozo in Florida. Please, it'd be hilarious. All right. So, in other news, I do think overall we are going to see more anti-immigration sentiment. I think we're starting to see it now because even the Trump administration, you know what happened the second after this stuff happened in Colorado? You know what the Act and ICE director said? There's now a big push in ICE to go ahead and identify all these individuals that have overstayed their visas. That's the very
Beautiful.
first thing he said. Which I've been pounding the table for this for months now, because I've been trying to tell people that these overstayed visas, they are easy to go after. And a lot of them, they're a big problem. I don't care if they came through legally or not. They broke this law. They shouldn't be here. So it does look like the ICE is now, I mean, they're getting deportations up to like 1,500, which is still not enough, but it's getting up there. And now they're going after the overstayed visas. I like it. It's a good start. Or it's a good starting point, I should say.
When we look at immigration, we just need to tell people to look at it in terms of what are they putting in, what are they taking out of the system. And if we do it that way, like 90% of all the immigrants that come into this country are taking more out of our system than putting in. If you do it like that, I think that's the argument we have to make, because all these liberals are trying to say, oh, they contribute so much.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The data tells them they're fucking full of shit. We have so much data to tell them that they're full of shit in terms of CPI, in terms of housing costs, in terms of medical care, in terms of hospital wait times. We have so much data to tell them that they're full of shit. So why don't we do that?
And
Let's
there's a
just
bunch
do
of
that.
subjective, like, case-by-case studies where, look at housing now. Like, not the cost of it, but look at the quality of the buildings. Remember how everyone's saying, oh, we need these migrants from Mexico to build our houses? You know that? Like, oh, we need these people? Look at housing now. People are realizing, oh, wait, my roof is about to cave in on itself because it was made cheaply. It was made by people that had no clue what they're doing. So
Made
it's case-by-case
cheaply,
stuff.
made by people that don't speak English.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it like a common sense thing that if you do not speak the same language as a person you're working with, that there's less information going to be conveyed, and that like the job is going to be poorer,
Yeah.
not because of speaking specific languages, but because you speak different languages? Is that like not common sense?
Yeah, I mean, like, everything's gone to shit. Everything's gone to shit. I'm not saying everything's immigration. A lot of it's, companies being lazier and cheaper, but still. Random Polish guy for 5. Bog Honor. I don't know what that is. Polska. My relatives rejoice commies pounded sand as the Texas of Europe stands firm. W chat. Thanks for the super chat, good sir. But yeah, I mean, like, how is this getting worse? I'm being serious, people. Go look at Twitter. There's like thousands of videos each day where it's people saying, yeah, my floor's caving in because it was built by like cheap labor and like the quality's shit. It's happening everywhere. People are realizing it, yet how has it gone up like how much the last like 5 years? What percent was it? Was it like 80% in some areas? It was some crazy amount. I don't know for sure, but
I believe it.
yeah. Trump takes immigration seriously, but the courts view their job as to maintain the decline of the USA. Oh, that's another problem. The courts are just worthless. As today. Oh, we can't look at this Maryland case. We can't. Because reasons. But yeah.
According to Redfin, which is one of those people that like displays like housing prices, median U.S. home price rose from $289,000 in January 2020 to $418,000 in 2025.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so that's a 45% increase.
Yeah, I thought some areas was like 80%. I know, but yeah, general it's like 45. Jeez. Well, I wonder why people can't afford housing or why they can't leave their parents' basement. I wonder why. It's as if they can't afford it.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Like have all these people, these like these really stupid conservatives that show up, whether it's Laura Ingraham and Tommy Lauren, or whether it's some random millennial dad dude in the South. And I know, like he's my blood, but he's just stupid. And here's the whole thing. They sit there like, well, you need to be out of the house by 18 years old.
That's dumb.
The dumbest shit ever. Nobody does it. Like even people that have very normal lives and they do a 4-year degree and they get out, a lot of them, because of the job opportunities available to them after getting their degree, stay at home for 5 years or so. And sometimes they stay longer. But like that stigma against people living in homes, number one, it's just a uniquely U.S. thing because of the culture that we have But number two, it's starting to not make sense anymore, which is why people are rejecting it. It has nothing to do with men being weaker. It has nothing to do with like emasculated society. Those are all very tangential, like very indirect causes of this. The main cause is economic forces, and everybody will tell you that. Like it, I I've actually gone back and forth in my adult life between living with my parents and living on my own. And honestly, I have always saved more money when I'm with my parents.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's obvious. And anybody that lives in a tourist city or a large metropolitan area pretty much shares the same sentiment. It only really makes sense to leave the house when you get married. That's when it makes sense. When you get married, that's usually when an American leaves the house.
And that's when you have enough money and stuff. Like, it's just common sense. But people are saying, "Oh no, you can't stay with your parents." That when you turn 18, even like the second after you turn 18, you're gone. You have to leave the house, which is just stupid.
Also, just the fact it's impossible to afford any even apartments now.
Even the apartments, like unless you want to live in like a 4x4 shithole.
The average apartment now costs more than the mortgage for a house did in like the 70s and 80s. You know,
but
like so all
pull
these
up your
boomers are like
bootstraps.
spaz out about how do you not have a house yet? I had a house. You know, it's like
Here's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
because like somewhere over 40% of the country is trying to go to college, or like half the country is trying to go to college. When they tell you to leave the house at 18, that 18-year-old obviously has no capacity to own a home on his own. So what they're telling you is to go to college and to live in a dorm and to accumulate massive amounts of debt while you do that. No, that's stupid.
That's the American dream.
If I were doing my life all over again, I'll tell you guys, I would immediately just go to community college. I actually, not community, I had a full ride to a different university. I would have taken the full ride to the different university instead of taking on debt. If you have that, if you're smart enough to get that, do that. If you're not smart enough to get a full ride to a university, then go to a community college, go to a state college, go to a place where like you can just commute there, and then get like a 2-year, even a 4-year maybe. And if you need better credentials, then transfer to a university. But like, don't ever put yourself in massive debt before you have a capacity to earn any amount of money whatsoever. Never do that. Ever.
Right. Random Polish guy for 5. It's Polish meaning God, honor, fatherland in Poland. It's their version of USA chants. I'm trying to learn the language. Oh, okay. That's cool. I don't know what you meant by that, but yeah, okay. So it's Polish. It was Polish. I just know what it meant. I saw a TikTok page a few days ago that's going viral where all he does is go around in new houses and shows how bad the build job is. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that now. It's just these videos are built like, these houses are built like shit. They can't do anything. They barely hold up for 5 minutes. I mean, who would have thought? You get cheap labor that... What?
Yeah. I regret to inform you that Democrats are now officially making taco a campaign slogan.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
No.
where does that come from again? Even
It was some dumbass reporter that's like, "Oh, Trump, you chickened out of the tariffs."
So now they're basically making taco, Trump always chickens out, an official Democrat Party slogan.
Oh my gosh. They're back with these shitty videos. I made a whole segment on, oh my god. Remember back in February and March where they tried this trend? Where they had like every senator and like congressman like post the same video? It's like the same word, like word for word. Well,
yep.
they're doing the
So it's
same
like
thing
the
now.
same thing.
Look at this shit.
So they're going to give every congressman and senator a taco and have them them do this.
He's
Yeah,
eating
but dude, they want you to know they're the Big Tent party. You know, we're the
Yeah, Big
closed-minded
Ten.
cult party.
Speaking of that, there's a poll from, I think it was, NBC. So in 1989, which the party of the middle class? Democrats won this issue by 23 points. 2016, they won it by 17. 2022 by 4. Right now, it's tied. So it's more people now believe that the party of the middle class is the Republican Party.
Don't even get me started on the CNN poll that had no Republicans getting shit done. Had them getting,
they won
being good leaders. Yeah.
Yeah, the Republican leadership's gonna be strong and powerful. If they're saying that now with John Thune and Mike Johnson, holy crap. What were you saying, John?
I was gonna say, the ultimate hypocrisy, the ultimate like joke, the butt end of the joke of this taco thing, is that Trump is doing what Democrats were talking about doing in the early 2000s, decades ago. And they were too chicken shit for 20 years to do what Trump is doing right now. If the Democrats wanted to keep their label of the true middle class party, this is something they would have tried to do congressionally because they have the power to do that. They could have done it with Obama, could have done with all these other things. They were too busy fixated on Gibbs and power and all of these other things to actually make the market a better place for Americans. So like, yeah, they can like wave around their tacos all they want, but we all know who are the real pussies here. We all know who are the bitches in this entire situation, and it's the Democrat Party. And not only are they that, are the spineless cowards who never fulfilled any of their promises. They actually no longer believe in them anymore, and they just don't do anything. It's just a party of fake people full of shit. So like, who cares? Who cares? Let them wave their tacos around.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
Wave their tacos around and lose. I mean, they're gonna get they're gonna get killed at this point in 28. I don't know what they got. What do they got now? They're losing the economy now by like 8 points. So if the biggest issues are the economy, immigration, and what will be the third one in 20?
Like I said, their entire campaign is going to be remember when Trump tanked your 401k for a month. That's going to be their campaign.
Oh my gosh.
Remember.
G Stewart for 2. I decided to join the military. Huge help. Oh, W's a chat for G Stewart. It's your decision, so good luck. Good luck in the military. Yeah, it's just these people are waving around their freaking tacos, and it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, the boomers are wearing like taco hats now.
They're gonna
like,
lose 26, aren't they?
It's really funny because sometimes like the answer to an objection to Trump's policy is to go back and read the book that he like made 40 years ago.
Yeah,
like it's all you have to do. Like go read Art of the Deal. And like 2 chapters in, you'll understand what Trump is doing right now. Like you don't even have to spend I'm not telling you to read the whole fucking book. Just like read it for like 30 minutes, and then you'll be like, oh, that's how Trump's brain works, and then you're just good. Like,
yeah. Simple logic for 2. Trump should grab them by the taco. Oh gosh. But you know, it's like
I am.
Their entire strategy.
Trump should show up wearing like he should throw like a taco party at the White House.
Oh my gosh! Like be like, you know, the McDonald's thing. Do the same thing, the dumpster thing.
Yeah,
do it.
No, work at Taco Bell. Work at Taco Bell.
President Trump is working at Taco Bell. Listen, I mean, the memes for that are so glorious. By the way, the McDonald's thing, I still love it. President Trump.
The garbage truck thing was great too.
Yeah, I love it. Richard Head for 2. Hot take: GOP will sweep Michigan in 2026. I think it's possible. We'll see, but I think we have a good chance in Michigan. So,
man, I think we're winning that Senate and governorship.
Yeah, I think Mike Rogers should run a good campaign. He'll run a good campaign.
No, and I just think the Dems are too divided there, in my opinion.
Yeah, Gretchen's term limited, right?
Yeah, so it's
the
Senate primary.
And there's the Mike Duggins running as an independent too, and John James is a pretty strong candidate for us. So
let's see here. I'll gladly pay way more for a TV or a phone if it meant I could afford a house. Yeah, I mean anyone would. I don't get these like this boomer mindset of I can't buy my shitty iPhone for $80 or like $1,000 or whatever. It's gonna cost $1,200 or something. It's over. Meanwhile, nobody can afford a house.
It's like, look, companies are always going to try to take advantage of the expendable income of the average American, but we have to like have a conversation about who do we want exploiting that? And to me, the real estate market is the last group of people we want exploiting it, because the real estate market is the center to the American dream. The real estate market is the center to American life continuing. It's the center to middle class people having the ability to appreciate their assets, which I think is like one of the foundational, like practical applications of Americanism. It's just like people can buy a house and it grows in value, and they have something to leave behind for their children. So everybody has a little kingdom. Like, I think that's like a central thing of America. And so if we have other things cost more, but real estate costs less, it's that is 10 out of 10 times I'm taking that.
It's net savings. I've been trying to explain to people this. It's like, okay, yeah, your iPhone and your shitty TV that's gonna break in 5 minutes, which I have a whole rant on that. It's like your TV, might cost a little bit more, but you could buy a house for what? Well, what would be a hopeful, like, if we could get this to this price for the average house, it'd be considered a success, like 150,000, 200,000, right? Somewhere in that range.
It'll be better if it just returns to a general area that it was before. Like if we can turn back the clock any amount of time, 10 years, 20 years,
Yeah.
it'll be better. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't care about the value, and most of the country doesn't have an appetite for caring either. I'm going to be honest. Like these people, even in the people in our opposition party, they don't give a lot of crap about these boomers' assets. I'm going to be really like honest about that. They don't. I also like. We just have to end all of this. We have to end this bullshit. Like, you ever like sit there and look at Fox News and like they have commercials where they're trying to teach the boomers still watching it to get reverse mortgages. Like they're trying to get boomers to like basically have nothing at the end of their lives so that they have nothing to pass down to anyone ever.
Yeah.
That is actually like hellish. That is evil. Now, those are people that are supposed to be on our side. Like no. This evil shit just needs to end, and we just need to have. It doesn't matter if the boomers have really valuable property if they don't leave anything behind for their kids. So who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
Who
this is
fucking
insane. I mean, like, they're hoarding their money, which is a fact. We literally have a bunch of studies proving this. Let's see here. Jacob Hawley for 20. I'm having a debate with some people. They say who cares about illegals because we are illegal here due to natives. They argue that South Africa has every right to treat the whites bad due to what the apartheid horseshoe theory. Those people are just schizophrenic.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
my point.
like Holly, you may not like Matt Walsh, but he actually did a pretty good like segment on this where he was just basically like, no, those aren't natives. It's when he was talking about King Charles, because King Charles came and said the same crap. He was like, well, I would like to recognize that this Canadian land I'm standing on is ceded to the native. Like, no, listen, we were conquerors. We won a bunch of wars, and they were not easy. Like we had very bloody wars with the natives, and then we took care of them. We took their territory. We took the Ohio territory, and then we took a bunch of stuff in the West. Yeah, some bad stuff happened. Who cares? Like in history, the conquered nation has to live by the rules of of the conquerors, and it's been centuries now. The Native Americans, Indians, we try to be nice to them. We try to like give them rights, and we try to like give them their own space like in the country, but at the end of the day, they are conquered people. They are failed people. They were civilizationally inferior in every objective metric that you can possibly measure. And look, I'm going to be honest. Pretty much all of their lives are measurably better by the existence of our countries. Like that is it. Like that is one of the biggest things. All these people, you sit there and you see a bunch of Indians and they're wearing blue jeans and they're running businesses and they're making profits off of both the government and the market, and they get access. I don't know if you guys knew this, but they actually get exclusive access to special health benefits through Obamacare. Like I don't know if you guys do that. They get so much shit. We throw so much shit at them. I have zero. I would love one. I would marry a native if I weren't already in a relationship. Like, I don't care. I'm not racist against them. But at the end of the day, I have zero bad feelings about anything we did to them. When I see this, when I see our scalped heads and I see the blood that they shed on us, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry.
Everybody, we got some breaking news. Take a guess who's bashed the Trump tax cuts now.
I don't want to know.
Take a freaking guess.
Rand Paul.
Thomas Massey.
Why
Why didn't Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act make tax cuts permanent? Because the impact of tax cuts and debt after 2025 was understood by them to be too great. Now they're employing new math to claim that renewing the tax cuts without cutting spending won't impact the debt. I'm done with this guy. I'm done with him. How many times I explain this?
Tax cuts aren't libertarian enough for them. They're not.
Right. Guys,
tax cuts are anti-libertarian.
Does anyone understand that revenue went up under the tax cuts? Remember that? What went up was also spending. This dumbass is not telling you that.
This guy wants no tax. This guy wants no taxes, basically.
Massey is just the next Amash at this point. There's like nothing. There's no redeeming quality.
Honestly, probably so. Like, I think he would probably like vote to impeach Trump at this rate.
Again, he's literally trust a CBO. They've never been right. The reason deficit went up was because spending didn't.
Switch parties. He's probably gonna switch parties like Amash did. Don't be surprised if
who.
No, the only reason that won't happen is because there's too many requirements to be like Democrats have way more requirements than Republicans to actually exist. Massey will never be. He could leave the Republican Party. I don't ever
That's
see
what I said.
Massey.
Yeah, it'd be like
I
like
said he was going to
Amash.
switch to a libertarian like Amash did.
Oh, okay. I thought you
He's
said
going
I thought
to.
you said he was.
No, he was never
I
going
thought
to
you said he was going to become a Democrat. And I'm like,
No,
what?
I never would. No, he
What a
definitely
great
won't.
libertarian. Well, I mean, this guy, it's like, first of all, again, how many times did I explain this? There are spending cuts in this bill. How many times did I explain this? It's not as much we want, and they're talking about right now in the Senate, and Trump's going to get even more. But for the 50th time, he's not telling people revenue went up under the tax cuts. It just spending went up also. So he's against tax cuts now. He's against tax cuts and libertarian. Can you imagine Ron Paul looking at this right now? This is just amazing. How did the libertarians go from Ron Paul to this? Where they're now anti-tax cuts.
The woke mob got to him.
The woke mob. Mike for 2. I used to like Massey. He fell off bigly. Oh, this is a generational like fall off. It's literally the Shaq on the Celtics.
He just votes
meme.
no on everything.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like there's nothing.
He's literally like the Shaq on the Celtics meme at this point. We're like washed up.
Oh.
That's who he is. He's washed at this point. Who gives a shit what Thomas Massey has to say now? Because all he's gonna do is vote no on tax cuts now. He's not attacking spending.
No, and I'm gonna say, if you support a primary challenger to them, that doesn't mean you're some Zionist shill. You're not. You're just a normal person.
I just sick of this guy because listen, he kind of had a point of the spending stuff. I still think it was stupid, and he was lying to people with the discretionary
What
stuff.
he should do is what Ron Johnson's doing, which is pressuring for reforms to the bill, not like doing massive thing and just nuking it.
More reform, and and we're getting discretionary cuts. Watch, he's gonna vote no on the Doge cuts tomorrow. Watch, it's gonna happen. That's coming, by the way. The first Doge cuts are coming tomorrow, and they're gonna vote no because of principles. Just watch. He's gonna vote no because it only cuts $10 billion. Yeah, but you're cutting spending. All right.
I don't really care what he does tomorrow. He could be the most glorious angel on Doge cuts. At the end of the day, he is obstructing the agenda. He's not only obstructing the agenda, he is obstructing what you all voted for. We all voted for something. That was what the democratic process, like the representatives of ourselves are supposed to try and fulfill those promises. And he is in the way. And that's his suicide. That is Thomas Massey's personal suicide, is deciding to obstruct everything the voters wanted. He's going to have a reckoning from it. I don't know when, I don't know how, but he's going to. And that's just, he's calling it upon himself. It's like, you stand out in a thunderstorm and you beg God to strike you with lightning. This is what he's doing.
All right. So, in other news, you know how he's like literally saying like, oh no, the math is wrong. So, the economy's not going to grow at all. Well, just a little while ago, everyone remember the Atlanta Fed when they claimed that GDP was going to go down by 12%, and it didn't.
Yeah.
It went down like 0.2%, which we talked about. That it went down because of imports. That's the only reason. But the point is, Atlanta Fed is now projecting that GDP is going to go up by 4.5% this quarter.
In quarter 2. Yeah.
Oh no, there's no economic boom. No, there's nothing happening. And the drivers is a surge in consumer spending and an investment rebound. So Massey's full of shit like usual.
Yeah, and just to remind everyone, I'm going to meter everyone here because that doesn't equate to yearly GDP. It's just one quarter.
It's 1 quarter, yeah.
But understand that this is the rebound from the contraction. We're pretty much guaranteed to not have a recession in the immediate term now. And here's the whole thing. Scott Bessent predicts by 26 next year, we're going to get into quarter 1 and we're going to have like a steady 3% yearly GDP growth. That's not as much as we want. We want to get it up for more 5, 6, 7, but like that is a wonderful, if that is true, and I think that's a conservative estimate by Bessent. Yeah. If that's true, I think that we're going to be really in good shape for the midterms. So yeah, no. So just hold tight, and in quarter 3, the number. This is my warning. The number probably will drop in quarter 3, but it's okay.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
K-Cup for 5. Dear Master, we voted for Donald John Trump. We did not vote for you. Shut your trap. Get in line and resign before you're embarrassed in a primary. He's been initiating the cycle. He's going to get absolutely killed in that primary if he runs Republican.
I'm not a fan of libertarians being exterminated from like our national politics, but at the end of the day, they're calling it upon themselves. They're begging, they're asking for it. And there's a bunch of money staring down at them like, well, you're in the way. So
we need
yeah.
we need Thomas Massey voting no on everything. We have a 3-seat majority. What's his
Do
excuse?
you guys think liberals are unstoppable force, are immovable objects, or do you think the money that Donald Trump's raising? Do you think the RNC money is that the unstoppable force, or libertarians the immovable object? You get to make your choice. I'm going to say the libertarians are not immovable objects. I think they are easily dusted out of the. They're going to be kicked into the dustbins of history if they keep this up.
Look what Trump did to the libertarians in 2024. He got half them vote for him. It's like, hey, we'll give you everything you want. Just vote for me. And that's what
because
he did.
a lot of libertarian voters want results, and they know that Trump is giving results. That's it. We all want results. No matter no matter what your ideology is or your principles, at the end of the day, we want results, and we're going to vote for the people that give us results.
See, we'll lose the House. I think it comes out of the economy. That's my take right now. Well, it's two things. If Republicans get the Doge cuts through and they codify some other stuff, which sounds like it's happening tomorrow. That's what it sounds like, I believe. The first Doge cuts are happening tomorrow. If they get that and the economy's doing good, Republicans are going to win. That's my take. The Democrats right now, their approval is sinking by the second. It just keeps going down. There's no end in sight. Listen, there's a chance for like 10% by 2026. We'll see, though. We shall see. The Lilberts are getting themselves wiped out, both in the GOP and with the Libertarian Party. Yeah, I mean, the Libertarian Party, they went with a leftist. Wow, and they get killed? Yeah. What do you think was going to happen?
If libertarians want right-wing voters, they need to get rid of the open borders leftists. Immigration is like the most popular issue right now. Yeah, but anyways,
all they had
I gotta
to
go.
do...
But
all right, see ya. All right, so yeah, I think Republicans can keep the House, but we'll see. It's a real tension. Any last thoughts on anything? Actually, we had to talk about the Washington thing. I forgot about that. So, for those that don't know,
that's going to be running for district there.
For those that don't know, the Democrat Party, they're going after all these Democrats they don't like, which is, I mean, isn't Adam Smith like a partisan Dem?
Mm-hmm.
So, he's not progressive enough. Adam Smith is not progressive enough. And there's an ex-Seattle city councilwoman, Kashma Sawant, that's how you say her name, a longtime Trotskyite. Oh my gosh. She's a Trotskyite? Trotsky, how do you say it? Yeah. Yeah, she's
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Who founded the Revolutionary Workers' Party last year. She's gonna win the primary. It's gonna happen. She's gonna win the primary. Is it Seattle? This is Adam Smith's district.
It's in Seattle Metro.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's not downtown Seattle, though.
Yeah, it's not downtown. So there's
downtown Seattle is a Geopolitical.
Yeah.
This is like Bellevue and the Seattle airport.
Please elect a literal communist because you're not progressive enough. We're at a point now where
it's not exactly surprising that Seattle has communists, like literal communists on their
it's Seattle and
council.
Portland. You know that sucks for those cities. They used to be actually like nice, halfway decent cities. You know, what's Trotskyist? Trotskyist. That's what it is. Just look up Trotsky. That's what I gotta say. Stalin didn't like him, but yeah. Anyways.
In other news, I think Tim Walz was meeting with Jim Clyburn in South Carolina.
Yeah, I think Walz is going to announce soon.
Yeah, I said this yesterday, but I think I think this summer he's going to announce his presidential run.
I think Walz is going to announce Harris. I think she's still running. We'll see though, but A
I
Walls
still don't see it, but we'll
a
see.
Walls versus Harris versus Buttigieg versus Booker primary is be the biggest shit show ever. I'm gonna love it. That primary would be so fun to cover. By the way, if it's really a 4-way circus like that, that's gonna be glorious.
Here's the thing. I think he's going to talk to Harris before he runs.
I don't know.
And my guess, or he's going to wait to see what Harris does. If Harris runs for governor, then he will run for president. If Harris runs for president, then he will support Harris.
I don't know. Walls wants to kind of prove that he's not the reason he lost or something. That's why I think he's gonna run. So, that'll be 2020 levels of glory. Oh, listen, I don't know if we could ever top the 2020 Democrat primary for how much of a shit show that was, especially early on. But we could get close. If it's like Buttigieg Harris, that debate would be the dumbest thing ever. We'll watch every debate. Force yourselves to watch that. All right.
I mean, I'm still going to watch the debates anyway.
I'm going to, but it's be terrible.
I would honestly, I would prefer if Harris doesn't run because I think it would make the primary more interesting because I think you would get more candidates in the race.
All right. What's happening in Seattle?
It's nothing new. It's just
somebody
that's
said
just
look at the Seattle protests.
Oh, it's like
there's protests every day in Seattle. There's always shit burning there.
It's probably a Palestine protest. It's nothing new. They have them every day.
Adding Jasper Crockett's shit into the primary. Again, I think everyone's going to run. I think they're so desperate, everyone's just going to run to figure out who's the best.
Here's the thing. I think if Harris does run, you're not going to see people like Crockett enter. I don't think you're going to see Booker enter.
We'll see.
I know Booker wants. I mean, I know Booker wants to run. That's why he's doing the whole speech thing. He's got a book coming out. I'm just not sure if he would run if Harris was running. Now he could try to become vice president under Harris administration, but we'll see. I don't know.
All right, so if anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, send them now. Last calls for super chats, folks. Last calls for super chats again. The super chat goals are kind of just whatever. If we don't reach, we don't reach it. It's not the end of the world, but thanks to everyone that's
considering New Jersey's a battleground state now. I could see
yeah, I think New Jersey's a battleground now. I think it's fair to say that. By the way, later today, guys, we'll have a video on the Atlas Intel thing, a part 2, because they're on a generational run and destroying their reputation. All they had to do is keep their mouths shut. All they had to say was just nothing. Or if they said something, they could have just said, listen, this was 1 month. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it's statistical noise. We'll wait next month. That's all they had to say. But no.
I got a lot of backlash for saying this, but I do think he might have colluded with Democrats just because he hates Trump.
We'll see.
Like, I think he just wanted to have his Seltzer moment to be respected by Democrats or something.
Ever since they got bought off, or not, I think they're independent still, but Bloomberg works with them now. Or they work for Bloomberg, kind of. But yeah, I'm making a video on that later, guys, because it's hilarious. I mean, this guy was making fun of Rasmussen for Harris up by 1 for a day back in August or something. And then they have, they missed the Polish election by 3. They're full of shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, if next year is a D+9 environment, I'll take DL. But
I would too. But Big Data's not finding it. Rasmussen's not finding it. Insider Advantage, QuantaSense, none of them are finding it. So
AOC being positively approved of, just
more popular than Trump and Vance. Harris more popular than Vance, I think. And Obama's like the most popular has been. Guys, he's gone down the shitter in his approval in the last 10 years, especially the last 5. But magically it's rebounding? What in the last month has caused the numbers to go down for Trump? It should go up, theoretically, but no. They magically found it. Jacob Holly for 5. What if the communists start running like that lady from Washington? Maybe that forces Democrats back to the middle. It'll scale them a little bit. No. They'll trip it down. Because you know who's going to vote for her? Like those little communists? Literally the Democrat Party. The Democrat base is so insane they'll vote for that. K-Cup for 5. On the debate stage for the Dems, you throw Stephen A. Smith on there, he would probably just have that Stephen A. Stoic face meme the whole time. Yeah. He's not going to run for president, right? Right? Sure.
I think I'm starting to think he does want to. I don't think he'll be. I don't think he won't be the nominee, but I do think he will run for president.
The imaginary.
He'll probably try to be like the substitute of Mark Cuban, because Mark Cuban's not going to run,
Oh, yeah,
most
he's
likely.
not going to. I think he's been praising Trump now or something. Mark Cuban. I thought he was.
It would be surprising if he was, but
We'll see. So, okay, everybody, I think that's it for the stream. Vote for Mamdani. No, do not vote Mamdani, New York. Unironically, don't. I don't care if it's a Democrat that wins. It cannot be him. At least Cuomo and Adams could maybe do something to fix the city a little bit.
I mean, I still think Mamdani wins, but I still don't think you gotta vote. Don't vote for him. Just don't.
All right, everybody. So I think that's it for the stream. Thank you all so much for watching. We shall see you guys in the next stream, video, or wherever you see us at. Godspeed to all of you.